What's going on, guys? Welcome to Cruising with Kevin. Today we are out in Arizona and I am looking at a 1976 AMC Matador. Um, don't know anything about the car. There wasn't much information. I called the guy and he said just come take a look at it. He was busy, so we're going to take a look at it and then decide if it's worth pursuing a little bit further here. So kind of
Got scotch with 2x4.
yeah. Kind of take a peek at it, and this is basically the first we've looked at it. So I noticed as soon as we pulled up here, this is a lot of times things you can't see. You can see it's got a fairly decent sized dent in this quarter panel here, and they got this like basically shaped quarter panel. So these are a pretty cool looking car actually. So the one thing I did know when I looked at it in the pictures that this back window is missing, and that's actually kind of a huge problem because they don't make them anymore. I've called around a bunch and looked around a bunch and everything, and I can't find one, so that could potentially be an issue. He's not here right now, so I don't have the keys for it, but it's open. We'll take a look at a couple things. He said that he had it running, or at least running with spray fluid there, like about in the last year or two anyways. So so let's take a look at a couple things here. The things I could see in the pictures right off the get-go was this, that's just cosmetic, not too bad. It was plated in Washington in 2007, so I'm assuming that was the last time it was on the road, or at least plated, so it might not have even been driving a little ways before that. But it's got this really cool styling and this really weird impact bumper. So that was kind of new in the 70s there, where they were just starting to come up with those impact bumpers, and they were designed to squish in here to kind of take the force. But got these really super neat taillights. This is actually what I think makes the car kind of yeah, it's just kind of a weird bumper design. It sits like probably 6 inches away from the back of the car. So but it looks like it got a pretty good ding in where the window broke. Obviously I don't know exactly what happened here, but something got pretty mangled. So not sure. I wasn't sure too in the pictures. I couldn't really tell if these were a flat window, so it looks like it is, so I'm not sure. Maybe we could get some glass cut for it. Another problem you can see, and you can already tell it's going to be an issue, having a vinyl top like this, starting to rust underneath that a little bit already. So but it's got the original rims on it here, American Motors. What does it say? American Motors. So they're 225 75 14, which is a tiny tire, but they actually look kind of cool on this car. I didn't notice the gas cap was back here. There's a fair bit of surface rust on it all over here. I thought maybe it would be something that could kind of be buffed out and just kind of driven as is, but you probably could for a little bit, but I don't know. I would have to see. But once it starts to kind of show like this, especially when you're in an area where you're not in the desert, it's going to start coming through a lot quicker. But so that's kind of a problem. So it's got these super cool door handles here. This thing was like, it's like kind of stuck here, so I don't know why it was like that, but super tight. Passenger seat is removed on it. Looks like it was loosened up and moved forward for some reason or another. I don't know exactly why. But actually the seat condition's in pretty good shape here. It's got like pretty decent vinyl back seats. I don't know if there's an actual issue with the like side, if there's been mice or anything in here. It looks like there kind of has, so that could potentially be an issue. But see, there's there we go, there's stuff underneath here. Looks like they put rat poison in there, and there's the air cleaner, so that's not a great sign. Not sure why it's not on the car. Pop the hood there. So if that hasn't rolled over, which it probably likely hasn't, it's got 58,000 miles, and you can take a look at those gauges. It's really cool actually. They got like it's kind of like an interesting design in those years or whatever. I thought it had a tack, but I guess it's the clock over there, so that's kind of interesting. Yeah. So again, we don't know what this thing all needs because we're just kind of looking at it for the first time. The steering wheel's not too bad. It's starting to crack a little bit, but again, it's got that AMC logo on it. Just kind of a super cool interior. It's actually pretty roomy inside here. Sure why they took all the seats out. I guess because the carpet. I just realized the carpet was out of it, so probably the same thing. There was mice in it or whatever. They had intentions to probably fix it up at some point and just never got any farther with it. So let's go take a look under the hood. They got these really neat things too. Like this is like the door locks here. It's like, I don't know. It's all pretty cool actually. Let's see if they got any goodies in here. Looks like they broke out the thing for the mirrors there, but we'll go take a look under the hood and see what we can see. A couple flat tires here. Looks like they would probably hold air. They're barely flat. That one's kind of blown out. It might hold enough to get onto a trailer maybe. Gotta be careful with these old hoods and stuff, especially these big ones. It's got this like really wild styling in the front too here, but so here we go again. This is like the Tempest that we've been working on. It was kind of the same story. No air cleaner, which ours actually had an air cleaner, but no oil cap. That's not a good sign. It's supposed to be a 360, which it would, I mean, whatever, it would be a Smog 360, so I don't really know. See if we can get on this thing and try to see if we can get it to turn over and at least know that it's not seized. Because if it's seized, you're always going to end up having a lot more. Well, moved a little bit. It's hard to get grip on there, so maybe. But there's no air cleaner on there, so it looks like it's had a bunch of mice under there since that, so that's not good. And it does look like it is a 360 if that's original, so I guess that was a factory option. It's just so big in here, it's so weird. So there's that, and you can kind of tell sometimes if it's been leaking in the radiator and stuff. It looks like this one's bulged, and you can actually see a little bit down here. It's kind of starting to leak a little bit, but it looks pretty original. It's a factory AC car, which is kind of neat. Not that that would ever work, but that's a whole nother thing in itself. So, well, let's see if there's any brake fluid in it for curiosity here. I'm sure there'll be no brakes because that would be like asking for a miracle. Oh. No. As anticipated, there will be no brakes. Let's check the oil for curiosity. I always try to look for oil, and sometimes I'll smell it to see which of the oil. It smells like gas, but that could be from them putting stuff down the carb there. It's not that dirty actually, and the sun is actually fairly clean. It does smell super gassy though. But at least there's not like antifreeze in it. You could tell right away if it looked like it was kind of separated or a milkshake in there or whatever. It gives you an idea about that. So I know nothing about these cars again. I'm just like looking for cars that are kind of something a little bit more unique, and it turned a little bit, but it seemed like it stopped when I turned it over there. It does have antifreeze. Being a Washington car, you would hope so, so that's a good sign. It's got some anyways. What else? Not too much, just kind of cool. You gotta be super careful when you're moving these, but you can see it's like all this trim holds water and dirt, and so if they're not getting washed regularly or kept in someplace dry, you can see it's rusted holes through the hood. Super cool though, really cool car. It just got this like such a unique front end, and it's got that same impact bumper on the front where it kind of sits away from the front of the car like that. This is just kind of it's definitely a unique looking car, even kind of down the sides and everything. It's something you definitely don't see around every day, but when you stand at it from this angle, you can kind of see how big of a dent that thing has in it. And this crazy as it sounds, sometimes dealing with these dents in places where there's like an actual shape to it is kind of difficult. So again, depending on whether or not we would want to actually do something with the car paint wise or drive it how it was or whatever, but it is pretty cool. I guess the seat was just out of it because of the because of the carpet, I suppose. So we can't see in the trunk. That's kind of an issue. I don't have the key, so I don't know if there's water issues back there or not. That glass has obviously been out of there now. I don't know. It sounds like that was happened when it's been down here. So hopefully, because what's going on here is now that this glass is open, this is where all the speakers and everything are. This is a big area back here too when you get looking at it, but the speakers are there. So if that's been getting rained on, and it does rain here, I mean, we're in the Sahara Desert here, but it does rain here obviously. But here again, there's kind of that rust from that vinyl top there, and it's hard to deal with rust in a roof, especially when it's on these seams like this. So I guess my only concerns here, well, not my only, but I mean, things that we can't see would be what it's like underneath in the trunk here. Yeah, so it's, I mean, it's definitely a cool looking car, but I can pretty much know for sure. I already checked into, it needs it's gonna need a fuel tank, probably, almost certainly. It's pretty rare that you'd find one that wouldn't, so it'll need that kind of dealt with. It looks like they put a fuel pump, probably put gas in it, hoping that it would start and run, and it probably wouldn't because the tank's probably full of crud or the pickup tube or whatever, so that would be an ordeal. So probably needs a new tank, fuel pump probably again, and then I guess whether or not it's actually got some issue. It turned just a little bit there, but I tried rocking it again and I couldn't get it to go. So that could be, sometimes that'll happen if the rings start getting rust in one spot on them. When it hits that rust ring, it'll stop in that spot. So there's potentially that, but I don't know. It's weird how these cars are, like when you get looking at this, like that's a super unique thing for it to be like a roll down window like that. I do like that at least the seats, even if they do need to be recovered or something, which the covering is okay. I'm worried about the foam and stuff having gotten mice into them. I think I'm gonna go to the other side and tip that one over and take a better look at that and see, because if it's got mice in it, then you pretty much have to redo the seat, which sucks because it's like thousands of dollars. It does smell pretty bad in there, like it's sat in a farmer's field or something like that for a while, but oh no, honestly, not that bad. Not nearly as bad as it could be. It doesn't even look like it's been chewed on that much, so maybe the poison saved it. Definitely needs carpet, of course, in the window. The window is definitely a problem for sure. I don't know, I like it. I kind of like it, actually. Let's take a look. See, I always forget a lot of things. Like the glass is actually not cracked, which is, again, I mean, these windows are, I think, $500, so that saves $500 there. That looks like it's original, I would say. Looks like there's been lots of animals climbing on it, you could see here, but again, the badging in those days and everything, it almost looks like from the front like a AMC Javelin, sort of. It's got that sort of swoopiness, and even from the side when the doors are kind of closed here, it's got that like AMC Javelin kind of like sort of swoopiness to it too. Missing some trim pieces there, and I don't know what's in the trunk, but things for sure we know it's going to need brakes. Then the engine situation, you just kind of taking a flyer whether or not that would be a problem or not. It might run. Just because you get it running doesn't mean it'll run good too. It could be burning oil or leaking stuff or whatever. Like, There's all sorts of things, but it does have antifreeze. That's generally a good sign. So there's that, and then the fuel tank. So this kind of stuff, you know, the carpet. You know, you can dump a couple $1,000s into a car just snapping your fingers before you even start. So that's just something that you guys have to be thinking about when you're buying these. You saw that Ford truck that we looked at there. That was kind of the same story. Like they told us that it had been running 9 months ago, and I thought it was on the road, and it wasn't. So, you know, it didn't have gauges, it didn't have all that stuff. At least this car is kind of complete, and if you're, you know, if you get lucky and the motor's good, you can kind of work from there. So I think it's something I'll definitely get back to the guy on. You guys tell me, I guess. I might even be back for this car before this video is done if we can make a deal on it. But tell me what you guys think of it in the comments here. I'm kind of curious if it's something you guys think is a cool car or not. I do like that it's a 360. It'd be cooler if it was a 401, but I mean, beggars can't be choosers. Most of these cars were 304s, it sounds like, but it is a fully loaded up car and stuff. So I don't know. I'd have to probably get a winch. I don't have a winch on my trailer to be able to get it on. And this car is extremely long, so it's gonna take up a fair bit of my trailer actually. But yeah, I'm kind of interested in it. I said, and then the rust concerns is definitely like having vinyl tops terrifies me because it's just one of those things. It seems like anytime it has a vinyl top, it's always some sort of issue there underneath, and you can tell already because it's showing itself. And maybe it saved itself to some extent by not being like in a wet climate, but it did come from Washington, which is pretty wet climate. So, you know, that doesn't necessarily tell the story. What I was going to look at, and I forgot because he said it was a 76, and when I was looking for parts, there was like nothing for 76s. So date of manufacturer, I cannot tell. Looks like it's been rubbed. To me, it looks like it says February 1977, actually. So, I don't know. That's weird. But that was what I was going to look at as well. Interesting. I don't know. That's cool. It's got all these American Motors tags and everything on it. But I mean, this is a pretty neat car in their day, like pretty loaded up. And it was something that at the time people weren't really doing this. So it was just it was a pretty loud car for its day. So it's kind of interesting. But so I guess I'll talk to the guy and we'll see what we can come up with. But if I make a deal, cool. If not, we'll be back to it. All right, guys, let me know what you think of this car in the comments. I'm looking for a bunch of projects just to sort of start stockpiling so when the weather's warmer, I can get to it. If you guys think the Ford F100 was cool, I might go back to that one as well. But so just gotta see what kind of deal I can make on this one. If not, then we'll go to the next project or whatever. So make sure, like always, like, subscribe, share me around on social media. Cruising with Kevin on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks again for watching, guys.